lives, our work life, every day with other individual. And during this moment, I feel this is a very important topic to be discussed. The topic here we will be discussing is Beyond Burnout, HR's Toolkit for Mitigating Job Stress. हिजो हामीले CEO versus HR सँगको panel discussionमा पनि एउटा point निकालेका थियौं जहाँ महिला अफिस आउनु भएको छ घरको कामहरू सकाएर, but she's already so burnt out. Now, little things like these, it's so important for the HR team, the organization to really look at and have a look at more strategic way to solve issues among the organization. We will be taking this session forward by the moderator. We have a founder and CEO of Health at Home, Nepal's first home-based healthcare service organization. He considers himself as a design enthusiast on healthcare services and technology. He wants to develop solutions around issues in healthcare and facilitate a delivery in healthcare enterprise or services for betterment of human health issue. He has been awarded as Social Entrepreneur in Nepal 2012 and was also awarded for the Best Poster Service Design in Washington, D.C., USA 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Let's welcome Dr. Bishal Dhakal, a cardiac surgeon, founder and CEO at Health at Home. Over to you, sir.
I think you guys are not burned out that we're going to talk about it because Saturday morning, everybody's over here, house full. Almost we didn't get a ticket over here to sit down. Warm welcome to everyone. This is weekend, and I'm very encouraged to see all the people present over here. I'm a little informal. I'm a physician by profession and a social entrepreneur. So I always like to see the changes happening in society. Very inspiring morning sessions that was there. So I think we're pretty much warmed up. I would like to welcome three of our esteemed panelists to the dais. I would like to start with the ladies first. Lonim Prasai Dixit, and she is a well-known public health expert working in WHO, and she's currently a national program officer, and she also looks after the non-communicable disease department and leads it. Welcome, Azar. I would like to welcome Dr. Arun Kunwar, psychiatrist and also a returnee from United States. And he has pioneered psychiatry services in Nepal, and he's been a past president of, welcome sir, past president of Nepal Psychiatry Society, and we're going to talk a lot about mental health that's in the market in current dates. I have Dr. Pravin Nepal, prominent consultant orthopedic surgeon from Norwich Hospital, and he's 25 years of experience in trauma and orthopedic services. So a lot of people have a low back pain and all not what you have during your hard works. So we have kind of a very different approach to burnout to talk about the depth and width of a public health interest to somatic behavior, like health issues. So just to start, this morning, I mean, it's a little bit everybody's problem, about, oh, I'm burnout. I mean, what is burnout? Is it like Saturday morning over here, burnout? It's not, it doesn't seem to be, but then the other day, if we have to show up in a job, the Saturday morning show up actually becomes a burnout. You say like, oh, I will be burnout. Why should I come in the office, It's my weekend. So it's always an interpretation about our preferences, how we see those, borderline issues. But it starts there. That's where exactly we step into the zone, which is kind of so worrying for professionals, especially in the HR department, that you really want to take a back step and think how we're going to avoid that step, not to have a burnout for our staff, for ourselves, for our family. So I would start with probably a definition. It's so cliche for a doctor to talk about. We always grow up with that. everything has a definition. It's a long, and we've done all our life. So Dr. Arun been practicing in the United States. He still does a little bit of consultation in telemedical facility. The worldwide burnout definition in a practice of medicine. I'll start with you. So we're going to go in a multiple round of questions. And how a world sees a burnout. I mean, from a mental health expert.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you are physically, emotionally, and mentally tired, exhausted due to your work-related stress, that is basic burnout. And we were talking earlier about, is there a real definition in Nepali? Last night I was thinking about it. मेरो दिमागमा के आयो भन्दाखेरि काम देखेर वाक्क दिक्क छक्क tension. So if I've been in work before. Biana uthera, when I woke up and I was thinking about going to work, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go to work. So that's a burnout. It has an emotional impact, it has a physical impact, mental impact at your work, your performance, overall growth and development of your family and your company. So that's the basic understanding of burnout as such.
What do you think about it, like from WHO's perspective, because it's a governing body on the global health issues, and employee equally is part of a societal, huge population works, and it's a productivity mapping, and WHO has some statements and definitions and work on it. What is WHO's perspective on it?
First of all, thank you very much for having me here to speak on a very important agenda that's related to employees' health, disease conditions, its implications, financial implications, and also long-term loss of human resources because of that. Well, the World Health Organization works in partnership, and its efforts is to have a healthy workplace which enables each one of us to work to our highest potential. And there are many resolutions, there are many policies and strategies that is made by the WHO and its member states. Like there is the occupational health strategy, there are strategies on having healthy workforce. Having said that, I would also like to take you back to 47 years ago, where there was this Alma Ata Declaration, and 36 years before, where there was this first ever health conference in Ottawa, the Ottawa Charter, which then further emphasized and legitimized the importance of healthy settings. And what could be more important than a healthy setting for healthy workforce? And coming back to your question, WHO defines health not just as being free of certain diseases. I'm not a diabetic, I'm healthy, I don't have mental illness, I'm healthy. Not at all. Health, in fact, the dimension of health is very broad. You should be physically, socially, and mentally fit to be called healthy. And it is not just the absence of disease or, or conditions like that. And for WHO, the three elements of being healthy workforce is one, to enable a workforce which allows each of its individuals and employees to work in an environment where you can be mentally, socially, and physically fit. The second, I believe, is that the health of the employees and the health of the corporate are inextricably intertwined. And foremost, the working environment should protect, promote, and provide safety for the health of the workers. I think that's what comprises what a healthy workplace should be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Pravin, of course, like you're not a public health or a mental health in that. He has always trauma, broken bone. But a lot of burnout in our daily life actually leads us to hospital. And most of us are equivocal, or it's not related to me. We are sitting in a corporate houses and we have our kind. Burnout happens in a lot of road traffic accidents actually because of the driver's burnout or substance abuse. What do you think about it from the prospect of the last mile stakeholder? as a professional, how bad it is on a road traffic accident and a burnout issues on a, just giving an example, because we're talking about burnout from WHO's perspective, from a mental health perspective, but we are not talking about the real-time scenario. So I'm just trying to encapsulate my first question into that last mile engagement where there will be an output or a resultative value of a burnout as an example for you guys to take away. So we're going to close that first round of question in that way. So it's basically, I've kind of structured it so that you have an example of a takeaway. However I can, I am trying to put it. But there is a lot of road traffic accident, right? So what do you see every day in your trauma practice?
So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to participate in this panel discussion of this HR meet here. So since burnout, that leads to the mental health, and that leads to the way we carry on to it, and which subsequently leads to this road traffic accident, and so on and so forth. And similarly, your body aches and things like that. So that gives a scenario which people come to me at the end having either of the problems like the present problem of road traffic accidents, which is very high, and causes of death is also more as compared, especially in our part of the world, is more as compared to the Western world. And similarly, the problem that they come to me with the daily activities like body aches and things like that, with backache, with their neck pain and things like that. So that is how I relate, and there are n number of people coming with such problems to me, and it is my day-to-day activity that I deal with.
Yeah, so the young person's coming up with unspecified somatic problems, which we call it, has a lot of occupational issues. So we kind of don't consider, when we talk about burnout, it's such a overlapping, multidisciplinary phrase. You cannot just, and it's such a borderline. It's not a diagnosis. It's not something that you work on it by prescribing something. It's a phenomena that you keep pushing people and they get into that zone and then they fall off. So getting into that, and then there is a burnout leading to mental health. So mental health, in my personal opinion, yeah, I got a Psychiatric Society's chief. I mean, he has created adolescent and pediatric psychiatric, one of the pioneer. He comes from the family of 3 generations of psychiatrists. I mean, these guys are name in itself. So institution-wise, as asking, and I kind of have my own understanding, mental health in corporate sector is overhyped. But there are other phenomena that is undermined. Regardless, mental health is the next step to the burnout. So what do you think about this hype around mental health?
What is hype? First and foremost, we always talk about, like a problem, mental health. You know, we all talk about mental health, but we really don't understand mental health. Only time I think the people really understood mental health was when we are all cooked up in our houses during COVID. Do you remember? If someone comes from outside, the fear, the anxiety, the worry, it's just not emotional. It happens physically too. Like, you know, when you are stressed out, you have a headache, you feel dizzy, your eyes go blurry, कानमा टु आवाज आउँछ हैन, मुख सुक्छ, your dry mouth, you can't breathe, you feel you are having a heart attack, your पेट दुख्छ, खुट्टा लगलग काम्छ, पसिना आउँछ हैन. So, you know, when you think about mental health, we all talk about mental health, but you know, if you historically think about mental health भन्ने बित्तिकै we are all afraid. We don't want to acknowledge, accept that these are common things that can happen to anyone. in your lifetime, you will have some kind of mental health issue once in a lifetime, or more. Any given time, 20-25% of people are going through some kind of stress, anxiety, some kind of mental health problems. Now, you relate it with burnout now. When people are burnout, when they are exhausted, when I told you, like, when I used to think about work and I feel stressed all the time. Then you develop anxiety, stress, maybe depression. You get angry, irritable, moody. So, and when we talk corporate culture, right? And I've been to many, and they say, like, hamroma ta ekdam ramro cha. Then sometimes I talk to their staff, like, my boss doesn't go home till 8 o'clock, so I can't leave before him. I'm like, what the hell is that? If your boss doesn't go, that means you cannot go. यो कतिवटा corporate culture छ अहिले. One person accepted it, but there are a lot of people who want to accept it, but they can't. So I think it's the cultural aspect within your organization and how it functions that leads to more stress, more anxiety, more problems. So if we think about changing the culture, we all have to accept that we all can have mental health problems, we all can have burnout issues, and we all need to work on it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sai. So, Dr. Saab, what do you think, or what is the definitive value that the mental health has been promoted as a preventative thing by WHO also? So, what's the scope that's happening for a corporate or for employee benefits on a mental health scope? So, it's basically narrowing down because there's a lot of scope area of work. So, in mental health wise, WHO's position for an employee, what would it be?
I think the foremost thing to look at for employees is to ensure that there is safe, there is healthy, and there is a resilient kind of workplace where we can, again, as I said earlier, that we can function to the best of our abilities. अनि अघि डक्टर साहबले भन्नुभयो जस्तै आज काममा जाने, आज मलाई मन परेन, आज हुन्छ नि झन्झट भयो भन्नुको सट्टा, well, I'm going to work, I'm highly motivated, I want to do my duties, I have an ambition, I'm committed to it भन्ने खालको सोच चाहिँ ल्याउनको लागि यहाँहरूको मोटिभेसनको साथसाथै वर्कप्लेसको मोटिभेसन पनि हुनुपर्छ. अघि भने जस्तै स्ट्रेस भयो, अनप्रोटेक्टिभ, अनहेल्दी वर्किङ इन्भाइरोमेन्ट छ भने त्यसले चाहिँ नि अब मेन्टल हेल्थ कन्डिसन सँगसँगै नन कम्युनिकेबल डिजिजेस, बिकज मेरो ब्याकग्राउन्ड एनसिडिज भएको भएर आई वान्ट टु हाइलाइट अ बिट अन NCDs and its risk factors. And त्यो हुन्छ. त्यो भइसकेपछि, like, I'm sure a lot of you must be saying, I'm overeating, I'm into using, I'm smoking, all this because of stress at work, stress at home, and so on and so forth. So what I want to say is, त्यो stressले गरेर चाहिँ what happens is then you ultimately adopt unhealthy behaviors, which ultimately affects your health. Any health, mental health affect हुन्छ, and then how can you perform at your workplace? Having said that, I would like to say that, it is so important to understand that the landscape of disease burden is actually changing, and also in Nepal. I am not sure how many of you all know this, but I want to highlight that 7 out of 10 deaths in Nepal is because of non-communicable disease. There's 22% early premature deaths because of NCDs, because of stress, because of mental health, and these is a productive age like yours, like ours, below 70 years of age. So what can be done? I mean, an environment that promotes, that protects, and that provides a resilient healthcare settings. Like, for example, use of tobacco. कतिजना यहाँनिर smoke गर्नुहुन्छ होला. Nepalको data shows कि 1 out of every other man, 1 out of 2 men are actually using some kind of tobacco products. त्यो किन भन्दा stressले 1 out of 4 people are suffering from hypertension. 1 out of 4 people are overweight and obesity. यहाँहरूले आफूहरूलाई हेर्नुस्, आफ्नो परिवार, आफ्नो वर्कफोर्समा हेर्नुस्, यो सबै कन्डिसन्स, यो सबै रिस्क फ्याक्टर्सहरूमा हाइली एक्सपोज्ड हुनुभएको छ. मेन्टल हेल्थ, NCDs, डायबिटिज, hypertension, name it. Ani त्यसपछि, so I think, that's where the workforce culture should provide enabling environment where each one of you can be able to tackle these risk factors and live a healthy life.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much summarizing those things on a global scale when your corporate culture is nascent, I think for us as a Nepali corporate sector, kudos to a power couple in the HR sector over here, growth sellers, both Mohandai and Samjanadi, that we are getting to talk about it. This is probably the first time. I am very delighted to say that we are breaking the ice in Nepali corporate culture about talking burnout and individual human health cofactors that is invariably been missed out in that whole scenario. But it looks good as a corporate sector. The house is full. The people are professionally driven. We have international speakers. But at the same time also, I think we have a changing landscape because of technology. There's a lot of new work cultures coming up. Of course, it's very new for us, like hybrid, work from home, especially after COVID. There's a lot of this conceptual shift on a work environment. A lot of people are conflicted. A lot of people are scared about artificial intelligence, machine learning, taking away the job that we're doing, the customer service relations, things are changing. It's a shifting human resource capacities. It's at the time, it's scary, it's not. But also it's shifting focus on getting, really, we can deliver, that our experts are here, that Arunda has done a lot of corporate trainings, Pravin has done it. We ourselves promote a lot of workplace safety and trainings. But there's a lot of difference between blue-collar job, white-collar job, kind of a burnout measurement on them, defining mental health in them, the productivity matrices, and the outcome measurements by the HR. I'm just defining it because probably this is the first time. Next year onward, probably we'll have a less of the definition things going on. We will be more working on a outcome-oriented measurement matrices on a mental health, public health interventions in institutions and categorizing them on a healthcare capacity and probably awarding them. Right now, I see one thing that I have orthopedic over here because the last thing that happens with the mental health burnout is somatic problem, trauma. All these things are outcome, or even the trajectory leads to suicide, trajectory leads to some kind of extreme conditions, which is kind of dealt by doctors, by health professionals. So one example is orthopedics, another is mental health. So for me, when I say blue collar, Arundai had a big reservation. So he's going to define it. What should I say about blue collar, white collar things?
Blue collar, white collar भनेको अलि विदेशी भयो हैन हाकिम र कामदार. So I think it's a work culture, not only work, it's our tradition. We respect elders. In a workplace, there is this hierarchy that someone above you is above you. You cannot say anything against him. So, in a work environment where this cultural aspect has percolated down there, and we have not changed, the world has changed, the workplace environment has changed, but the mindset of the people, hakim ra talako, is still same. So I think when you think about stress at workplace, you have to systematically look at cultural aspect, environmental aspect, each individual and how they function. I have a clear example where one of the bank employee, female employee, was harassed by a senior employer, and she basically had to quit her job. And this is not unusual. So, when you start going back and thinking about how I can make my workplace better, a lot of time I get invited to come and do a 1 hour, 2 hour lectures and say, hey, stress, so anxiety, घटाइदिनु पर्यो डाक्टर साहब, relaxation गराइदिनु पर्यो भन्ने के. This is not about 1 घण्टामा एकछिन रमाइलो हो. But you have to systematically look at how the whole system functions and what kind of interventions, whether it's a time-related, work-related, repetitive work, frustration, interpersonal relationship. So there are a lot of things you have to think about your organization. I think the least you can do is when you go back, put a one suggestion box, anonymous, and just write down what is burnout. Kam dekhera waka dikka chhakka tension kallai cha. And get a suggestion. Start from there. Everyone thinks it's not there, but it is there. Tell like how we can help. The attitude should be, if you complain about it, you're afraid they'll fire you. So you have to make it comfortable enough for people, non-judgmental, so that they can come and ask for help. So if you can create that environment, I think that will be a good beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Just I'm going to keep the public health prospect of it, adding to blue collar, white collar conceptual thing. How many of you guys are from do you have a manufacturing outlets, like institutionally? Can you raise your hand? How many of you come from manufacturing background? Okay, very little. Okay, I can see some. So just to align on our blue collar, white collar differences is because like most of our office job has a different kind of ergometric issues, stress, white collar job issues are different. Blue collar job issues are different. It's more traumatic, more accidental, more hazard oriented. We have a lot of enterprises which run on that. Yeah. I mean, you can say on a definitive value, but the kind of a work, for example, if someone is coming from a metal industry where there is a hot furnace, what are we doing to issue? Because they are innocent, because they need to work for their daily bread and butter. They are also employee, don't forget. It doesn't mean that we are sitting in a five-star hotel, we talk about it. We need to think about who lies below us and for what we are here as a representative. The stakeholders are there. If it's a manufacturing plant, if it's people working on a cable wire like internet providers. So the safeties, I'm coming to Dr. Pravin, in a sense, like those kind of things are training, orientation, rigorous standard practices, measurement, which is often looked by back-end office managers. Do you agree on it? The trauma that happens, and I'm saying about blue collar, white collar, in not a sense that they might be offended, but what I'm trying to say is to make it more simpler for all of us in the audience to understand, those kind of trainings are less. Do you think those kind of interventions are going to make a lot of impact on a people's life that you see, that poor people or people who are absolutely working in a daily wages has been overlooked and not been empowered by things that are simple to do? What do you think about it?
We can very well see, I mean, from my eyes, I can always, so while driving or things like that, people working on cable or people working with the electricity, they are less equipped. Even so much of building constructions are going on in and around Kathmandu and outside the valley. But I have not seen the proper way of managing the safety protocol that is applied in the other part of the world. See, let's take a simple example. If there is not even a simple first aid toolkit that is available at the building construction site, which is, and let's forget about the helmet or the tie rope that or the harnesses that we apply while working on the higher building construction site. So these things are very important and we have to keep it in mind, and every aspect, where it be a manufacturing company or it be just a simple office. So everywhere the working environment, there must be something to take care of their health. For example, similarly, there should be, the defibrillators around the shopping malls, which are not even seen and not even thought of providing, since there's so much of growing, these malls are around the Kathmandu and even outside in big cities, but that is lacking everywhere. So this is very important aspect, and one should be very.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So improving overall public health intervention, like what do you think where we stand in our WHO's perspective? We are so pathetic, we're okay, we're trying to adapt to new things. What is it?
First of all, I would like to say and highlight that we cannot do business as usual, and same applies for the topic here that we are discussing today. We need to change our systems. We need to make more of a systems thinking, so we cannot afford to lose our employees, because of this traditional thinking, especially हाम्रो कन्टेक्स्टमा डक्टर साहबले पनि भन्नुभयो अब कोही छिटो काममा आउला बिकज उसको बच्चाको स्कुल छोडेर कहाँ जाने घर किन जाने काममा आउने कसैलाई भरे बेलुका गएर खाना पकाउनु छैन or whatever ढिलो जाला but मेरो workplace I always say that come in time leave in time if need be. Of course we all work over the hours and so on and so forth, but productivity is what matters. And as I said, there should be change in systems, there should be change in systems thinking, and we need to create enabling environment. Aba agi pani bhaniyo, like, workplace ma what benefits do you have, what systems are in place, what kind of legislative, fiscal measures, policy measures that are there which enables your health, your kura bhani, stress-related behaviors and all. Like, for example, I can go on and on for what WHO recommends on how much physically active you should be, what kind of a diet you should eat, why alcohol should be avoided, and why we should not, overeat or eat unhealthy foods, all because of these stress-related factors at home or be it at work. So I think there should be policy changes, environmental, enabling environment, conducive environment for workers. How many of us, we all sitting in the desk. I sit in the desk from the moment I go to work till I come home. And then when I come home, I'm so tired that I just want to go to, be in bed or sit down in a chair or something. So physical activity like promote Garna, every workplace I think should have places that can have gym or at least places for yoga, meditation and so on. So those kind of environmental changes should be there. Every workplace should promote canteens, should promote places where you can have access to affordable, healthy, safe food during your lunchtime or during your break time. And there should be policies of absolutely smoke-free policies. कहिलेकाहीँ मान्छेहरूले भन्छ कि I'm stressed अनि मैले smoke गरेँ. म मेरो साथीसँग कुरा गरिरहेको छु, long phone call, so I want to smoke. Any reason people are smoking, and it's also very stress-related and can cause negative impact on your mental health and on your overall health. So त्यस्तो बेलामा चाहिँ okay, I smoke, I can admit that I want to quit. Is there a facility, is there a service for me where I can, does my workplace provide a counselor or where I can be provided with all this nicotine replacement therapies and so on? Is there, I have hypertension, I'm pregnant, for example. Is there a place that does my workplace provide that environment where I can go easily and access these services, etc.? So I think all of these are very important. So as I said, we should not look at it as a controlling environment. Sometimes we think that, all these efforts that are placed by my supervisors or by my work, they are very controlling environment. It's not controlling environment, it's your choice, and I think you should adopt to healthier choices and adopt to a healthier lifestyle. Healthier lifestyle does not mean lavish lifestyles, but it means lifestyles that can promote and protect your health. So again, I end by saying we need to look at our work, we need to look at our employees, our corporate houses, not from the traditional perspective of business as usual. Thank you.
So adding on what doctors have said, I was just thinking about, does burnout really matter to growth? Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't. In a sense, there are companies like Tata or bigger corporations with hundreds of thousands of people. Do you think they will be talking about these things? No. But what happens is basically, and it was in a COVID that I experienced it because I was consulting nearly 10,000 people workforce as a doctor in a COVID, directing their institutions and advising them. When there is people mass, that measurement actually starts impacting if you have a 10% absenteeism, right? Those measurements are value of a productivity for HR, because this conference is about HR. Why I'm bringing those people, because when Mohandai said we got to do a talk about wellness, and I said, Just asking you guys, what is your intervention in your corporate? Just raise your hand for one question. Do you guys have an employee wellness program? Can you raise your hand who has it? Okay, few of them have it. So there must be some cascading, cascading or a ripple effect that will happen eventually. So what happened was people stake versus your risks. When it starts crossing over, then only you start getting pain. So if you are working in a 10 people environment, forget about it. If you are working in a 500 people work environment, you are absolutely prone to it. You got to listen to them more attentively. Because your 10% absenteeism is going to impact your 50 people not attending in a job. Your furnace, which is metal company, which has a crore turnover of a productivity every day, working 50 people, if there is an accident because of a helmet which is not worn, that will impact the whole day and a compensatory mechanism of a cascading effect that's going to impact your production for a few days, if you're lucky. Now I'm giving you 2-3 scenarios where we are kind of overlooking our culture with not looking at an outcome on a measurement of a dollar value. Do I make sense? Now, when you think about it, HR's role, you look at it from the risk factor. If you have 200, 300, 400, 500, you're growing, right? Today, your company is 200, 300, 500. Now, how you engage in this is your question. I'm just giving my input because of some experience that I had. Now, I also want to emphasize on what kind of training my experts would advise you guys. Because after that, we're going to nearly get into a takeaway, then we close down this session. And probably we'll also take a few questions from you. So that training models, which can work for manufacturing, for technology companies, for F&Bs, for travel industries, are different. Absolutely different KPIs, right? But now when you think about it as a society, we all function because of that. So there are different training modules that you have done, probably you've seen around the world. What kind of things that the people can use it as a toolkit for a wellness improvement in a workforce? That's
Earlier, when Dr. Bishal was asking how many wellness programs are there, and I saw a few people raise hand, right? Can you raise your hand again? Now I have a second follow-up question. How many of those wellness programs has mental health component in it? 2, 3, okay. At least something, right? So when we think about wellness program, when we think about other stuff, we usually don't think about mental health. I think it's high time. If you really think about, loss of productivity, WHO calls it dailies, 11% of all work related loss is accounted to mental health. So, you have to start talking about mental health. And also, like I said, look at the structure. And there are a couple of things. One is, it's an individual and his productivity. We are always concerned about what time he's coming, what time he's going. हामी यहाँ एउटा काम गर्ने हुनुहुन्थ्यो 8 बजेको सट्टा 7 बजे आउने 5 बजेको सट्टा 6 बजे जाने कामै नगर्ने. What is more important is work done, right? And make it employee individual centered. अघि डाक्टर साहबले भन्नुभयो नि बिहान अलि छिटो आएर छिटो काम गरेर छिटो जान्छ भने what's wrong with that? So you have to make it flexible enough. It is people centered. And if they are happy, your company will be happy. There are many different programs, but I think, start with a wellness program that incorporates mental health in it. Think about enabling environment, which Lonim said earlier about environment. Is place where you work, is it comfortable enough? Whether it's a seating arrangement, do they have a small place where if they feel stressed out, they can go stretch out, do a little exercise, gym, physical activity, repetitive work, especially nowadays all of us are doing computer work. So the physical health and the mental health are both interconnected. I work in a clinic with one other doctor who is a very famous doctor, and नेपालमा के छ भने सबै रोग लागेपछि अब सब डाक्टर कहाँ गइसक्यो, यो डाक्टर कहाँ एक्चुअली जानै पर्छ भने अनि त्यसपछि त्यहाँ गएपछि देन आई गेट अ रेफरल अनि यसो आउने बेलामै दुईटा झोला हुन्छ कि यसो ठ्याक्क टेबलमा राख्यो अनि के डाक्टर साहब के रोग लाग्यो, यतिजना डाक्टर गए के ठिक भएन, कस्तो रोग हुने, के लाग्यो डाक्टर साहब भन्छ मैले, तपाईँलाई डाक्टर सपिङ रोग लाग्यो. When you have stress, I told you, के हुन्छ त, टाउको दुख्यो, न्युरोसर्जन गयो, पेट दुख्यो, ग्यास्ट्रिक नहुने त डाक्टरै छैन, मान्छे छैन, ग्यास्ट्रिक डाक्टर कहाँ जानै पर्यो, छाती दुख्यो कार्डियोलोजिस्ट कहाँ गयो, बिचारा घुमेको घुम्यो. When you have stressed out, you have multiple physical symptoms. On the second aspect, if you have chronic physical problem, chronic back problem, chronic diabetes, hypertension, all creates stress. So they are interlinked. Now, if you have a physical problem and a mental health problem, your physical problem gets worse. Let's say you have a diabetes, you're supposed to manage your food intake, take medicine, do physical exercise, everything else. Now you're depressed. केही छैन, खाना पनि केही खाएको छैन, यो मतलब छैन, औषधि नै खाएको छैन, एक्सर्साइज त कहाँ हो. So when you start thinking about health, you have to start thinking about mental health and how it correlates and interlinks with the physical health. So creating enabling environment at your workplace, look at the structural level, environmental level, individual level, and wellness program that incorporates mental health and some kind of relaxation activities that you can create in work. I think if you do that, we all will be happy worker. जाँदाखेरि वाक्क दिक्क छक्क लाग्दैन. Thank you.
Thank you. So you touched their heart. They can do it better, but then that's pretty nice, nicely summarized. When I see those overlapping issues, people are not looking at it from the responsibility side of HR. You can be open-minded about, see, there are professionals in market who are actually trained, exposed, and can give you solutions. Why we are talking about burnout is actually a very simple KPI. Is basically we want to reduce absenteeism. How many of you face unwarranted absenteeism because of a sick leave by your employee? Raise your hand, please. How many of you दिक्कै हुन्छ एचआरहरु जहिले भन्यो सिक लिभ लिएछ
त्यो just quick to add, विदेशमा चाहिँ छ नि कहिले काहीँ फोन गर्छन् के सर आई नीड अ मेन्टल हेल्थ डे भनेर के.
What is that?
So basically, when we say we have we have बिरामी भन्छ नि बिरामी बिदा हैन. When people are burned out, what they do is they'll repeatedly start skipping work and ask for, I'm sick. They ask for a sick leave repeatedly again and again. So if you see an employee that is having a problem, don't get after him. Just sit down with him. Is this really a sickness? Or is it a mental health day that he needs?
Absolutely. So he's so fast. Look at that, right? You can give a round of applause for him. Your one of the biggest problem is unwanted leave that comes in face of you that you cannot say in humanitarian ground that you cannot take. And I'll tell you another cofactor that most of the sick leaves are about somatic problems, which actually Pravin deals with every day, that low back pain, headache, eye ache, and they don't do yearly physicals. Problem, your people are unproductive and actually impacting your top line, bottom line. You're not concerned about it because you think it's the boss's job. Now, boss cannot fix everything. That's why you guys are there. I'm being very brutal. Sorry. But then there comes this guy who has a back pain, has a somatic problem, has a mental health. You don't know how to deal with it. What you do, their appraisals is terrible. They don't grow. Now there's more mess. How are you going to help? That we can help in a certain way, but then we are not all the solution. But there's somatic problem that he faces every day. What kind of a low back pain problems they come? Like there's ergometry problem, there's a technology companies, there are a lot of things like that, which is new age enterprises, which has this phenomena because of they're sitting on computers so long, multiple hours, they're not taking care of their eyes, they're not taking care of their, strength in your back. They're kind of a slouchy, isn't it?
Yes. This is my day-to-day activity that I do and deal with my kind of patient. It's they really give me tough time ruling out the things. I mean, whether it is a real ache or something else, or you just want to escape from your job. So, and that too in our mentality. हाम्रोमा बानी के छ भने केही पनि आएन त भनेको मलाई केही पनि छैन हामीलाई केही हुनु पर्यो यस्तो छ हाम्रोमा सोचाइ कि केही हुनै पर्यो नि त जाँच गरेपछि केही न केही रिजल्ट त पोजिटिभ निक्लिनै पर्यो मतलब ब्याकएक छ भने त्यहाँ डिस्क प्रोल्याप्स हुनै पर्यो डिस्क प्रोल्याप्स भएन भने त यत्रो जाँच गरेको केही फाइदै भएन डाक्टर साहब सो यो हाम्रो कमन प्रब्लम हो सो अब कस्तो हुन्छ भने सी when there is nothing on the MRI report or nothing in the blood report, they get angry, thinking that, I mean, it's all waste. So then that makes me think of referring them to Dr. Arun.
With a bag.
With a bag full of the reports.
Now,
So
quickly,
there you go, the full circle, right?
yeah,
Back
quickly,
from one to another.
quickly add to that. When they come in and they have a pain, right? We think they're faking. No, it is a real pain. त्यो मुटु दुख्दाखेरि मुटुलाई दुखेकै छ के and it's not a joke. तपाईले हामीले हेर्दाखेरि घामै आउँदैन बेको बहाना मात्र बनाएर आछ जस्तो लाग्छ के हैन तर when he तपाईँ गङ्गालालमा जानुहोस् गङ्गालाल पनि हैन म I used to work next to the Norbig hospital before हाम्रो त्यहाँ मेट्रो क्लिनिक थियो क्लिनिकमा छिर्न लागेको एकजना मान्छे हार्ट एट्याक भयो नर्बिक पुऱ्याइदियो भन्ने के थापातेली चोकबाट त्यहाँ कसले पुऱ्याउने डाक्टर मान्छे है कस्तो माया लाग्यो ल बस्नुहोस् भन्ने गाडीमा हालेँ नर्बिकमा पुऱ्याएछ आधा घन्टामा त्यो मान्छे फेरि मकै आयो भा के रहेछ भन्दाखेरि उसलाई 7 चोटि हार्ट एट्याक भएछ अनि नर्बिकको डाक्टरले मैले ट्रिट गर्न सक्दिनँ डाक्टर अरुणका जा भनेर रहेछ अनि मेरो गेटमा फेरि हार्ट एट्याक भएर रहेछ So for him, his experience was he thought he was going to die. I know it sounds like funny, but the reality is when you have stress, anxiety, the physical pain that comes with is real. त्यो मान्छेलाई ट्रिटमेन्ट गरे अहिले नेपालगञ्जमा बस्छन् अनि फनी पार्ट when he came back next time to मलाई भेट्न आए नि उसले मलाई चिनेन के मैले नर्बिकमा छोडे भनेर तर मैले उसलाई बिर्सिनँ उसको दाँत यस्तो छिट्या थियो है अहिले he is perfectly fine हैन and he is stationed in Nepalganj right now he does fantastic नभेटेको 4-5 वर्षै भइसक्यो occasionally he calls डाक्टर साहब केही छ भने छैन The reason I'm telling you this is, when somebody has यस्तो severe लाग्छ, repeated heart attack भएको जस्तो लाग्छ, तर treatment एकदम simple छ के. So when we think about mental health, we are all afraid. ए मलाई त म यस्तो भएँ, मलाई त मानसिक रोग लाग्यो. Mental health and diseases are like other diseases. They can be treated and managed very easily. अर्को एउटा क्वेसन जहिले पनि यो औषधि कति खाने एकचोटि खाएपछि त जिन्दगीभर खानुपर्छ ए बाबा डायबिटिज भएपछि खानु पर्दैन, हाइपरटेन्सन भएपछि खानु पर्दैन. What I tell people is, it's about how you function and run your life. दुई तीनवटा कुरा अघि डाक्टर साहबले नि भनिसक्नु भयो. First and foremost, are you happy and able to enjoy your life? Second, are you able to work productively up to your capacity? And are you socially, family-wise happy and able to keep a family happy? It's not complicated. We all have to start thinking about mental health. Please go back to your workplace, talk to your boss, create a group. One of the big things you can do is, अब यो केटाहरूको चाहिँ नि शुक्रबार भयो भट्टी पसाउँछ हुन्छ, तर मैले के भन्छु भने एउटा वर्क कल्चरमा एउटा ग्रुप, create groups where you all can sit down together and talk about different problems that you have within work. I think it is very cathartic, able to express yourself and share your emotional and feeling among your colleagues is very, very helpful. So at the least you can do is start creating groups among your colleagues.
Yeah, he's completely expert of things that you need, okay? He's got a complete toolkit. Just write it down, his links. But WHO is a very organized institution, and you have multiple retreats and examples. Can you give us an example as a multinational organization, what WHO is, and you have also trained in the UK, in multiple good colleges and all. So what it is like to work in WHO? Is it very nice, friendly? How is it?
Well, if you look at me, I mean, I am a person with a positive attitude towards life overall, and I enjoy my work. I look forward every morning to going to work, coming back home, being with my family, my 2 daughters, and my husband and my in-laws and all. So overall, I do enjoy my work. Had I not enjoyed and loved my work, I can write it in written. I would not be working for WHO or any other institution. So by saying this, I mean, that's my example, but by saying this, I want to kind of request you all to kind of think like your health is your responsibility. My health is my responsibility. All this stress work-related stress, family, friends, and so on, social stresses, etc. You think for yourself, you kind of, you have to, start saying like, nobody's responsible for me, for my happiness, for my mental health. I am responsible. And when you talk about, there's a trend of cycling these days, this trend of going to gym and all. It's not about being slim and fit, but being, building your bodies and all. It's all about your physical fitness. Remember, physical fitness is very important, and so is mental fitness. If you go to the gym, if you cycle, if you do 10,000 steps a day, how many of you all do 10,000 steps a day? WHO recommended. In your workplace, you just go up and down at your home, wherever. Make sure that you at least walk 10,000 steps a day. And things like that. You opt for foods that are healthy. How many of you all here eat 400 grams of fruits and vegetables each day? How many of you all sugar content is less than, 10% of what is required, the total energy level? How many of you all are not eating foods that are rich in trans fat? How many of you all are eating food a day, limiting your salt content to 5 grams? So these are things that you need to kind of build your knowledge. Health literacy is very important, and I would like to request that when you voice your opinions at your workplace for your health, then you start thinking about how the workplace can contribute towards your health. It's not just about having wellness programs every now and then, some kind of a project every now and then. Has your workplace, have you actually talked to your, your bosses or your, HR executives about having these programs institutionalized in your, in your workplace, not coming up with, say, for example, one mental health expert or a tobacco counselor or or somebody else every now and then. Is it institutionalized? Is there an environment that you can access easily? Is healthy choices easy choices? So I request that such kind of an environment at work should be there. And in the end, the workplace also has to increase health literacy. How many of you all know, the questions that I ask you right now, just a few questions. How many of you all are aware that these things can lead to these things and then cause stress and then mental health and NCDs and so on? So again, in the end, I would like to say, make health your responsibility, my responsibility, my mental health my responsibility. Talk to your friends, make a peer circle where you work in a team. It's all about team efforts. That's when you enjoy your work. That's when you get motivated. Set a goal. I mean, a lot of things have already been said before. So take that into account and then work towards having a better mental fitness, mental health, and a better health for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Darsa. So we're nearly close to the session, so we can take a few questions and wrap up the things. Do you have anything in your mind that you want to ask? We're going to take 3 or 4 questions max, okay? Can someone help with the mic, please? And please raise your hand and have a structured question, specific, please. And please introduce yourself with the kind of company you are part of. Yeah.
Namaste, I'm Pragal from Muktinath Vikas Bank. My question is for years problem, sir. They are dealing with some mental health issue. Discuss so, are there any techniques that deal with?
Sorry that I asked your institution's name.
Muktinath Vikas
So
Bank.
it's just an
Disaster.
example.
I think it's a workplace culture. What I tell them is, let's look at your organization structurally, physical environment, individual level, hierarchical level. If there is a problem, who's the focal person they can go and talk and complain about without being judgmental? I think if any time anybody you think looks stressed out, you feel they are having maybe mental health issue, it's okay to ask. People who are going suffering, they want to talk. I want to talk, but it's hard for me to talk. So it's okay to ask them, whether it's a senior or junior. But I think the cultural issue about their seniority, you cannot ask. I know. But I think it's okay to ask, because they want to talk, and it's helpful. Suicide is a major public health problem in Nepal. Every day, 20 देखि 21 जना मान्छेले suicide गर्छ in Nepal. More than 8,000 people committed suicide last year in Nepal. We think कि भुइँचालो एकचोटि गयो, यहाँ हरेक वर्ष भुइँचालो गइरहेछ. That we don't talk about. So anytime if anyone ever says that I don't want to live, take it seriously. सुन्दिनुस् ए यस्तो हो तिमीलाई के do you not want to live? Do you want to die? Do you feel suicidal? मान्छेले धेरैले भन्छ के कसरी सोध्ने सर उ सुसाइडल छ भनेर के सोध्न हुन्छ वर्स्ट केस छ छैन भने छैन भन्छ छ रहेछ भने त then you say okay you need help, let's see how it's going to हैन अहिले नेशनल सुसाइड हेल्पलाइन छ नेपाल गभर्नमेन्टले चलाएको. It's open 24 hours, right? If there is anyone needs any help, you can call anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. He's got a really good resources, contemporary content, and a toolkit. You guys have to understand, you cannot take one piecemeal stuff and then take home. You really need to work on a program. So, pausing him because he's got every answer to those questions. There's another question, please.
I think I'm the one.
Hey, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Namaskar. He quoted my name. त्यसले चाहिँ मलाई पिन पोइन्ट यस्तो गर्यो कि इट ट्रिगर्ड मी फर सो मेनी डेज होइन अनि मलाई यति धेरै गाह्रो भयो क्या. सो यस्तो इन्सिडेन्टहरू चाहिँ मेरो अरू टिम मेम्बर्स अरू एचआर कलिग्सहरूलाई पनि हुन्छ होला सायद. त्यसलाई मिनिमाइज गर्नलाई चाहिँ हामीले के स्टेप्सहरू चाहिँ अडप्ट गर्न सक्छौँ हाम्रो मेन्टल हेल्थको लागि.
So if I understood you correctly, तपाईले को कारण
जब भनेर उहाँले जुन लेख्नुभयो त्यसले चाहिँ मलाई नै पिन पोइन्ट गरेको फिल भयो. देयर वाज समथिङ एल्स रिजन द्याट इट क्विटेड तर मेरो पनि नाम आयो नि त. त्यो भइसके पछाडि अब हामी सायद एचआर कलिग धेरैजनाको त्यसरी नाम आउँछ होला. अनि त्यसले चाहिँ मलाई धेरै दिनसम्म ट्रिगर गर्यो त्यो इन्सिडेन्टले होइन. अनि आई वाज नट मेन्टल्ली त्यो म चाहिँ अलिकति राम्रो कन्डिसनमा थिएन. अनि मैले धेरै पनि गरेँ जस्तो मैले यस्तो स्ट्रेस नलिउँ भनेर म चाहिँ अब आफ्नो बच्चासँग धेरै टाइम स्पेन्ड गर्ने होइन साथीहरूसँग गर्ने. तर त्यसले पनि धेरै दिन चाहिँ हामीलाई अलिकति त्यस्तो इन्सिडेन्टहरू चाहिँ एचआरमा हुन्छ र हामीलाई ट्रिगर गर्छ कि. त्यो भएर चाहिँ केही छ
हजुर।
स्टेप्सहरू
हजुर
हजुर
अब यहाँले भनेको जस्तो इक्जाम्पल्स त कतिजनाले फेस हुन्छ नि अनइन्टेन्सनली अनटार्गेटेड भिक्टिम पनि हुनुभएको होला। मैले अघि पनि भने वर्कफोर्स कर्पोरेट हाउसेसमा चाहिँ के हुनुपर्छ भने यस्तो खालको इस्युजहरूलाई एड्रेस गर्ने एउटा फर्मल च्यानल अफ कम्युनिकेसन हुनुपर्छ। यस्तो खालको एचआरहरूको अब हुन्छ नि कसलाई रिपोर्ट गर्ने कस्तो हायर एन्ड फायर अहिले चाहिँ इफ यु नट दे अरू कसैले तिमीलाई रिप्लेस गर्छ त्यस्तो खालको एटिट्युड होइन कि यो जुन इम्प्लोइजहरू चाहिँ इम्प्लोइको हेल्थ नै कर्पोरेट हाउसको हेल्थ हो भन्ने खालको यदि सोच त्यस्तो विचार लग्यो भने चाहिँ अघि मैले भने जस्तै जस्तो डब्लुएचओमा पनि धेरै अब रिपोर्टिङ सिस्टम्सहरू धेरै छ होइन। अनि त्यसपछि यदि तपाईँलाई त्यस्तो मेन्टल स्ट्रेस पऱ्यो भनेदेखि कहाँ जाने कसलाई हेल्पलाइन माग्ने अनि इभन लाइक हुन्छ नि स्टेप वाइज कुन लेभलमा कसरी जाने भन्ने छ। त्यसपछि डिफ्रेन्ट अब तपाईँ अनयुनानिमसली पनि अनानिमसली पनि यु क्यान लाइक पुट यर सजेसन्स इन अ बक्स। अनि त्यसपछि सो यहाँ आफ्नो अफिसबाट भएन भने हेडक्वार्टरसम्म पुग्न सक्नुहुन्छ। सो अहिले मैले भने जस्तै यो चाहिँ अब अफिस टु अफिस डिपेन्ड गर्छ तर त्यसमा एचआर पोलिसी त्यसमा स्टाफको वेलफेयर चाहे त्यो सेक्सुअल हरासमेन्टको केस होस् या यहाँले भनेको जस्तो केसेस हो त्यसको चाहिँ प्रपर सिस्टम हुनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। ठ्याक्कै यही त भन्न सक्दिनँ तर हजुर अब उहाँले त्यसमा अलिक एड गर्नु होला।
तपाईँले एकदम राम्रो इक्जाम्पल भन्नुभयो। लट अफ टाइम एट वर्क प्लेस वी गो थ्रु स्ट्रेस। नाउ यु सफर अन योर ओन। It's not your fault, but you still have to suffer. Sometimes you live in a glass house, somebody throws a brick and breaks your window, right? It's not your fault, but you are left with cleaning your mess. So the situation with you is, it's work-related, it's not your fault, but you suffer. Is there a policy within your organization, if someone is going through that, what they can do? Is there someone you can go talk to who will be non-judgmental, non-critical, and will listen to you? Do you feel comfortable talking to your boss? Can you talk in a group like peer support where you say, I felt this way, is anyone else feeling that way? So I think, when this happens to us individually, we are left to suffer individually. Don't make it that way. Talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues, create a system within your organization. If anyone is going through this, how we can get help. The last, but the least is, we have to also understand work is work. It's not your fault all the time. You happen to be the HR that day, that's why he took your name. If I was there, he would have taken my name. So don't take personally everything at your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we are in the end, and to wrap up, it's an excellent engagement. A lot of counseling sessions started here, so the fire is gonna burn. That's great. So that's the goals achieved. So takeaway, as a moderator, thank you so much for making out the Saturday burnout session, which is, their family must be burning and angry. So thank you once again. She has 2 kids and he has 3 kids. No. We're gonna do that later. No. We have a guest over here. So one thing about takeaway is one size doesn't fit all. Communication toolkit you have to have in your every corporate houses, and healthy work environment that you have to maintain. That's the WHO's recommendation. That's the end for this year's HR Summit Burnout session. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much for a phenomenal panelist. Culture ma चाहिँ यस्तो खालको emotionally tied हुने कुराहरू नगरौँ. Like employees-हरूसँग चाहिँ एउटा maintain गरौँ भन्ने जस्तो कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले धेरै सुन्छौँ. But I'm sure we're breaking stereotype and we're trying to redefine the work culture as well. In no particular order, let's start with our moderator, Dr. Bishal Dhakal, founder and CEO, Health at Home. Let's have Dr. Lonim Prasai Dixit, NPO, World Health Organization. Professor Dr. Pravin Nepal, MD, MS, Senior Orthopedics, Dr. Norvik International Hospital. Professor Dr. Arun Kunwar, a psychiatrist, Kanti Hospital. A big round of applause again. Thank you so much, everyone. I request you all to take your seats.